Hey everyone, Tori the Crafty Girl here, and today I'm going to share a brand new design with you that is perfect for these colder months. So what I'm going to show you how to create today is a bowl cozy. Now, if you haven't heard of these, they're an amazing thing that you can make for the home, and it's actually a really easy design. I've been using bowl cozies for years, but they were made out of fabric. I actually have a design over on Etsy if you are a sewist with a template that you can make it with actual cotton fabric. But today we are going to be making it with the circular knitting machine with a 22 pin. So if you're still wondering, what the heck is a bowl cozy, Tori? Well, it is made from cotton fabric or yarn. And what you do is you take whatever you want to microwave, okay? So it's for the microwave. You can also use something like this to put an ice cream tin in, but maybe you have noodles or you want to heat up some leftover really hearty stew, whatever it is, you put your bowl with your goods in here, and you put that right in the cozy, and then you put this in your microwave. And then when you take it out, you don't touch the bowl and you don't burn your hands. So it's just a really great, project. So as I mentioned, this project is made with an Addi 22 pin, but you can use any 22 pin machine that you have. You will need cotton yarn. This is very important. If you're going to stick fabric or yarn in the microwave, it needs to be cotton. You do not want to have any reactions to any of those synthetic fabrics, so it is just recommended that you use cotton yarn. This project will take you about 1 to 2 hours. The actual knitting of the pieces goes by pretty quickly, but as I mentioned, you are working with cotton, and cotton definitely is notorious for jamming up in the machine and making you go a little bit slower. So 1 to 2 hours, I think, is a realistic time for this project. So let's dive right in. As you can see with the design here, they're essentially, in the simplest of terms, you just need 3 pieces. You can customize this with different colors, patterns, whatever works for you. But you're gonna need one longer tube that is 48 stitches, or 48 rows, and then you'll also need 2 little squares that are both 16 rows apiece. And how this is actually going to go together, so you can see already what is going to happen. We're going to finish all of the ends, so we're going to do a single crochet finish on all of the ends. And then what we're going to end up doing is we're going to stitch here, come over here, stitch up here, and then just leave a little bit of space at the corner for it to fold down. So it'll be a little fold. And then optionally, you can add an addition of a crochet border. I really like that because I think that it finishes off the piece. So you can add that there too. But again, needs to be cotton. All right, so now that we have all of our pieces, we are going to do a single crochet finish on all of them. Now, there are different ways that you can finish your pieces. The reason I'm suggesting single crochet with this one is we will be doing mattress stitches. Now, mattress stitches are a lot easier if you have a nice clean stitch. If you're doing a slip stitch through, they're really tight. It looks good. It definitely looks good, but they're really snug and it's a little harder to get in there and pick up those stitches. So you can use it. In fact, I'm going to use slip stitch on this end to connect here, and then I'm going to use a single crochet on this end. And that way, that'll work with me because I can still do a mattress stitch with that here, and I think it'll look okay. So I'm going to finish all these edges off, and then we'll come back together, and then I will show you how to attach it using a mattress stitch. So I finished all of the edges, and this is how we're going to put it together. So a couple things. If you are not using separate colors, what you'll want to do is count over 16 stitches on one side, 16 stitches on the other, and then use your stitch marker to mark it with the ends of your side pieces. I used a contrasting color just to make it really easy for you to see. 16, 16, 16. That makes 48, and 48 rows is how much you're going to do for this piece right here. So we're going with this right here. So I am still going to hold this together here on the corners just so you can see. And it will stretch, and then we're going to stitch here, and then we're going to do the same thing over on this side. Now, if you have done a single crochet and a slip stitch, which is again what I did, so I have a slip stitch here and a slip stitch finish on the ends of these pieces, I'm going to be connecting that to the center. But I left my single crochet at the top. Again, it'll make it easier when I come back around to do a crochet finish. And I think I'm going to do red. So let me show you. This is how I do it. Now, you may find it easier to do this in a different way, but for me, I just want to make sure that the center is aligned before I finish the sides. So I'm just going to cut off a long enough piece. Okay, so let me show you what I'm going for here. So you need a long enough piece so you can stitch this together, but also you're going to be stitching these sides together up to about here. So you do need to have at least enough yarn for this and then extra. So keep that in mind. This is the way, like I said, this is how I put it together because I want this to all align. And the previous one that I did, because I used one color, don't fall bowl, because I just used one color, I wanted to make sure that these were secure first before I did the sides, just to make sure that I had it lined up to that 16 stitch mark. So that is why I did it that way. But you could essentially pin everything together and start stitching right from like the 4th stitch down, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you stitch from here, do a mattress stitch to the corner, over, and then do a mattress stitch up to this corner. In fact, maybe we'll do it that way this time. Since I have used this contrasting yarn, it does make it a lot easier. And we're not doing a crochet, we're just doing, we're just stitching, we're just doing a mattress stitch. So we do want to get this aligned over here. Again, sometimes it's easier just to do that with your stitch markers. Because these cottons are a little bit different. This cotton is a little bit skinnier than this, so you will want to ensure that you adjust for that. So mattress stitch, look how pretty. This looks great. This is going to make it really easy to do a mattress stitch. Now, as I mentioned, we are going to be counting down 4 stitches. I think with this one, this was again my first sample of the pattern that I had in my head. So this one you'll see is not perfect because I tried a couple different things. I think I did 4 stitches on this side and tried 5 stitches on this side just to see which I liked better. And you can decide whether you like a 4, so here's 4 stitches, so it's a little bit smaller, and then I think this is 5 stitches. You can see it's going to give you more of a bend. But again, totally up to you, personal preference. Just make sure you just do that on every single one of them. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. That is my 4th stitch, and I'm actually going to pick up the 4th stitch because I would like to do that. Now we are doing a mattress stitch, so we're going to be working with the loops right here. So I'm going to pull this through that loop, and then, oh, it's hard to see black. Sorry, I'm using black yarn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go in here, find our little loop. Is that the same? And then we'll tie this off and we'll hide it. But now for the match stitch, we're going to pick up the post on this side. And then we're going to come back to this side and pick up the post. Tighten that up here, and then we're going to continue this all the way down. And you can do single posts, you can do 2 at a time. It really is personal preference. Also, if you need to adjust for any stretching, you can do that too. And we will come back and tie off these ends and hide them. Don't worry. Right now, I just wanted to dive into just getting this piece done. And cotton tends to knot very easily, just if you haven't worked with cotton. So just be aware. And again, sorry, I'm working with this dark yarn here. But when you're using something that's going to have like soup and noodles, and you know, dark colors are great, so it Doesn't keep all those stains in there. All right, so now I'm gonna pick up 2. The reason I'm gonna pick up 2 on this side is because it's starting, again, this side is a little bit longer because of the stretch. So we'll just pick up 2 on that side, and then we'll pick up 1 on this side, and it should be even. I'm gonna give it a little tug just to tighten those together, and then we'll continue down to that corner. All right, so now we are down here at the corner where I have it stitch markered. So we want to make sure that we get a nice secure corner so that it does give us the edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it through this side. I'm going to tighten up our mattress stitch. Okay, just double check, make sure I tightened it enough. Yep. So I picked up the loop on that side. Now I need to come back over to this corner. So I'll take my stitch marker off. And it's kind of over here, it's kind of hidden. And it will be a white stitch because that's your corner. Okay, so now we have that pretty secure, and I'm pretty happy with that. So going forward, I think this is the method that I'll use instead of just doing the center first and then the sides, but it's totally up to you. And we are going to end up pulling this like this. So now we need to attach this here. So this is what I was talking about earlier when I said the slip stitch. See how it's tighter stitches, and it's not going to be as easy as these right here. But we're going to do the same method just as if we were working with a mattress stitch. In fact, I think that's the one I'm in there. I'm just trying to make sure the right row is rolled. So now we're going to come back over here. And since there's no post, we're just picking up the X essentially. And then we're going to come back over here and get the post. Just make sure that's not going to be twisted. No, okay. So pick up that post. Come back over here under the X. We're going to pick up 2 posts because the middle section is stretchier. We're going to pick up the X. And then we're going to pick up 2 more. And I want to be clear why I'm doing this. Okay, so I know I mentioned it, but do you see how this centerpiece is a lot stretchier because of the way that the stitches are going? So we do want this to align perfectly corner to corner. So to do that, we have to juggle the stitches and adjust them as we go. If we were going stitch for stitch, we wouldn't have 16. We wouldn't have enough. So we're picking up 2 here. And then that is going to allow us to kind of get it a little bit more even. And then again, we're going to go under the X here. And then I'm going to pull this corner here just so we can tighten it up, see where we are. Oh yeah, look at that. So here's the corner, and then we're just attaching this. This is looking exactly how I wanted it to. And we do need to do a couple more with 2. And it's almost even. I think we just need to do 1 more possibly with 2. Okay, let's tighten that. Oh yeah, so now you can see it's pretty flat, and that's what we want. So now we can go 1 for 1 all the way down. And if you're wondering, is it gonna look bunchy? Is it gonna look weird? No, look at that. It looks beautiful. It's almost hidden. It's fantastic. So we're gonna do this all the way down to the corner, and just like we did with the other side, we're going to put a stitch marker here, and then we're gonna put another stitch marker 4 stitches down so that when we get to stitching this side, it'll be very easy to spot. So if you're liking this video, if you're learning anything, please let me know that you enjoyed it. I make so many of these videos, and I don't know if folks are enjoying them, or if you're even getting anything out of them, but I do love to make them, and this channel really is, everything I do on this channel is for all of you. You know, education is something that I'm passionate about, and crafting is a great way to relieve stress and be creative. So yeah, let me know if it's helpful. That way I feel like my time is worthwhile. All right, we're getting up to this corner. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do a matcher stitch up to here, but on this one, we're going to knot it off and hide it within the project. And then what you'll end up with, so you'll see we're starting to get that shape we're looking for. And then we're just going to repeat the process on the other side. So I'll finish this side right here, and then I'll show you how to start the second side. All right, so we finished this side over here. We are going to work on the side, and as always, I'm going to apologize for the heater running in the background. My basement definitely gets super cold, and we just had snow again, so it is quite cold here. But we're gonna do the exact same process. So first thing we're gonna do is find the corner on this side, the corner over here, and then over here. Just want to make sure it's the same row. There we go. Okay, so that is once again in place. And then we are going to turn this up, clip on that side, and then we will clip over here to align this side. Okay, so then we're going to count down the 4 stitches, and we're going to stitch using the matcher stitch down, over, and back up. And then we'll come back together, and we'll do a crochet finish, and we'll wrap it up. Here is our newest, the one that we just finished, and I realized I must have had a tuck stitch that I didn't see, because there is a bit of a little gap right here, but totally not really noticeable unless it's a dropped stitch, but I don't think it is. I think it's just an imperfection, and that is okay. It's handmade. You're gonna have imperfections. So here's the base. This original sample that I did, again, I did a crochet finish. So you can add a crochet finish as an optional finish. I really do think that it just will tie the whole thing together. For something like this, you could just continue to use black all the way around. With this one, I think I'm going to use red to tie in the red, black, and white. So we are going to create a slip knot. And I am just going to use my 5 crochet hook, and I'm going to start with a slipped knot right there. So you can choose where you would like to start this project. There is going to be a little bit of bulk because we're going to knot it off. I would not recommend doing it in the corner. I think it makes more sense to start, especially this is dark color, and we're going to hide these yarn tails. So I would start with this dark color here, and I'll just do it in the center. And again, doesn't matter which side. I would like to do it this way. We're going to yarn over and slip stitch and tighten that up. All right, now we're just going to go into the next loop around the top. I'm going to pull that over because we're going to hide it. Oops. Pull the yarn through, yarn over, and I'm not giving this a lot of tension, and the reason for that, because it's cotton, it does not have very much stretch, so I want to make sure that it is as loose as possible, just so that I can have a little give there at the top. And when I get to the corner, I do chain 1, even though we are turning into a corner. That way, again, we can try to get, see, look how beautiful that looks. We can try to get, what was I saying? Try to get a sharp edge is what I'm trying to say. So in fact, we will just go back into that stitch. Let me see if I like the way that looks. Yeah. And when all said and done, here is what our finished bowl cozy looks like. You can make a ton of these, give them as gifts this time of year, keep them for yourselves. Let me know what you think. Thank you everyone for showing up today, and until next time, see ya!